Hello again. So I spent some time hanging out with Kendrick Lamar this week. I think as we all have, as we all have been doing. And something that Kendrick talks about is how every day he just writes bars. Like every day he is just writing because he sees writing as a practice. So he maybe won't turn all of the things that he writes into music, but every day he is writing. And I feel like a lot of the musicians who I really admire have a similar level of practice where they are just very, very, very consistent. And I thought about that with YouTube and how, because I don't have anything that's like burning on my spirit to share, but I really like the idea of having a practice of showing up consistently with my community, with my audience, and as a creator, as a person, just showing up and being able to, communicate. And as always, I got a call at the top of the hour. So I really like, juicing myself up, preparing myself, loosening up. And then I go and do my more highly paid work. Um, but yeah, and so that's why I'm here. And I think one thing too is how we show up influences people, even if they don't say anything. So I was actually sending a voice note to one of my one-on-one clients, and they're going to be launching their channel soon, and they were feeling a little bit of nervous, but they were saying, I think I'm just gonna, take inspiration from you and just show up, right? And one thing I've noticed with going live is I don't really know how it works, but if you go to someone's YouTube channel, their live videos are in a separate tab. It's different from their produced, edited, uploaded videos. And the views for my lives in general, like, the historical trajectory of them are much lower than my uploaded videos. And it feels very powerful to still be able to create despite that, because I think for a lot of creators, that creates this sort of psychological barrier, right? I was going to say like psychological attack. Like it feels like you really have to come up against it and be like, okay, I'm going to keep showing up anyway. And I don't know if it's because it's for live and because, when people engage in the chat, feel free to say hi in the chat. I see a couple of y'all are here. Yeah, I don't know if it's because it feels real when it's live because there are other humans there. And so even though the number is smaller, there's something about it that feels more like concrete. But I think more than that, it's just this felt sense of I'm in this beautiful, loving, like generous, joyous energy. And I'm like putting that out in the world. And I have complete, not even faith, but like knowing that everything we put out comes right back to us, right? And so anything I'm giving out in the world is going to come right back to me and going to come back to me magnified, multiplied, is my understanding. So I'm really excited. And I do this practice. I actually was telling another client about it, and they were saying that I should consider like making it a part of my next Money Shadow program. But I do this practice where I create a bingo card, and I write out my different goals. And a bunch of them obviously have come to pass. But I have ones around YouTube that I didn't quite know how they would come to pass because I knew I'd had this interesting relationship to YouTube where I wasn't uploading regularly. Amira's here. Sending you lots of love. I hope you're doing well. Let me know how you've been. Yeah, but I didn't know how the YouTube ones were going to come to pass because, I was like, I'm not uploading no videos. So I don't know how any of these things are going to happen. And it truly was like this whisper a few days ago of like, start going live on YouTube. And I was like, all right, I don't have any, at the time, I didn't have any sort of grand strategy around showing up. I was like, okay. And I'm listening to this Love Money, Money Loves You book. And what it talks about is that, if you ask for money, if you have this request out, you're going to receive all these ideas and all these inspirations and all these little hits and all these little pings. And if you listen to them, they're going to make you money. But the often we get an idea and we like basically brush it aside and we don't actually act on it. And so I didn't really think anything of like that whisper to go live, but I was like, all right, I have fun going live. We're going to have a good time. And then it really landed last night like, oh, this is how I create and maintain a joyous relationship to YouTube, because it's been more nuanced, and in this way where it's easy and fun and there's this relationship, there's this connection. I'm like talking to people, and it's truly like effortless. And it's also giving the value of like this beautiful, warm energy, and also acting as a touch base for people. I think now more than ever, we need to know that we are all connected to each other, that we are plugged in, that there are people who care about us, there are people who notice if we're not there, that we're in this world, that there is like love in this world. And I feel like, oh, that is sort of like the gift I can give to, the people who show up for these lives, which feels really nice. I also feel like the practice of talking to yourself, talking to yourself, but being witnessed in talking to yourself, it allows things to come up that otherwise wouldn't. And that's something else that Kendrick said that I thought was really interesting. I think it was in one of his interviews where he was saying that, I think it was the one with Timothée Chalamet, where he said that if he didn't have like either the practice of writing every day or just like the commitment to writing and making music, there were so many things about himself that he wouldn't have realized because it came out in the process of making the music, of actually writing the raps and whatnot. And I think anyone who creates YouTube videos can relate to that, because not only the process of creating brings up a lot of stuff in you, but also having to consider, okay, what's my topic going to be for every week or every day or whatever else. You're kind of doing this constant excavation, and things that could have laid dormant for who knows how long suddenly is coming up. And I think the same is true for like relationships, the ones we have with people, where Amir is saying, oh, I definitely talk to myself. I'm my favorite companion when it comes to conversation. I always get my own jokes, and that is my favorite thing about talking to myself. But yeah, I think the same is true for any relationship where, in our isolation, things are going to come up at their normal rate. But when we are in relationship with someone else, their way of being is going to bring up stuff that maybe wouldn't come to the surface. And I think that's the power of, hiring a coach, being in an online community, being in a group, being in friends, being in clubs, like, is you put your unique combination of ways of being and beliefs and ideas and personality traits, and then it gets to mix with all these others, and then you get the feedback from how they engage and how they respond with you, which is really, really fun. And my intention, so I've got to call it noon, so I've got about 16 minutes, 17, 15, 13 minutes. So my intention is to hop off 5 before the hour so I can again reset. Also, it is very much 80 degrees. Like, it is 80 degrees and I've got my AC on and I'm wearing this like warm sweater because it's professional. I was wearing a dress earlier, but it was just we were just seeing a little bit too much of this. And I was like, all right, no, because, I have an image to maintain. I have an image to maintain. One thing that's really fun about being a creator as well is you're always dancing with delusion. And something I'll think about, because I work with all different types of companies and corporations, is sometimes I'm like, oh no, I hope I don't say something that's a little bit too risque and that jeopardizes, the consulting work that I do. And then it's like, baby girl, you have like 20 views on that. Like, I think you're fine. Like, I think you're okay. You be you. It is true that the internet lives forever, but I think you're fine. And I also think in my heart of hearts, I hope usually when I speak, it's coming from a loving place. So my hope is that the intention of my words are not lost. But I do think that even though I don't think I've truly done anything or said anything crazy, I will never run for public office because there's just so much that exists about me on YouTube that it would just be so annoying. It'd be so annoying. People would be bringing stuff up and I got to talk about it. So, and that's okay. I wonder do y'all have that thing where you still think you could do basically any job in the world, and then slowly you're like, I'm probably going to have to rule out running for Congress. Like, I still could do it. Give me 20, 30 years, but probably it's not going to happen. And I wonder how much of life is like going from like the infinite possibilities to just slowly, 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 we just get this narrower and narrower idea of what's possible for us and what we can actually achieve and accomplish. And that process of like cutting off our possibilities also reduces our life force. And that's the process of getting older. I heard it described that you get old when you stop updating yourself, kind of like a software program. You got to have the constant updates. Like when you live a life where you're doing the same things over and over, talking to the same people, recycling the same ideas, going to the same places, your system is not updating with new energy, new life, new ideas. And so that is what's actually happening. Like that's you getting old. And then it just manifests in your physical form, which I think is really interesting. Also, again, feel free to say hello, folks who are hanging out and perceiving me. I do love to be perceived. Also, I've gotten some feedback on my hair growth journey, which essentially consists of like, we love the shortcut. And I'm like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I think the thing with being a creator or any kind of public facing, having an audience, sharing yourself online, is that there is a sense that you're talking to, like someone in your life, like a friend in your life, which in some ways can be really amazing. But I think it creates this sense of like, let me chime in. let me throw my 2 cents in there. And it's like, no, I was always ever gonna do what I was gonna do. Like the illusion that there is sort of like, and it's not always the case. I'm sure there are certain things that I have like responded to the audience and there's been this dance. But I think we all know that we always do what we want to do. Like if we're honest, we always, even if it ends up happening through self-sabotage or it happens in some kind of circuitous way, if there's something we want deep, deep, deep down, we gonna get it. We gonna do it. So yeah, I feel this relates to my hair growth journey, but it relates to a lot of things in life as well. And I have to say, it's so fun not knowing who some of these people are who are I'm really like, I wonder who are they? Who are they that are like, Chimdi's live. I want to see what's up. I want to see what she's gonna say, And I'm thinking about the times when I join other people's live, and there's something so electric about it because it just really lands that it's a person. I think especially with the internet, where if we see someone's packaged creativity, they're showing you the best, funniest, most interesting, most entertaining parts of it. And then when you see someone on live, you're like, that's a person. That's some person. And then for me, I start to like become aware of, what are we doing? Like I'm sitting in my home watching you. Why am I doing this? And just, it becomes very strange, and I think I'm just so curious about that. Like who amongst us, the people, are like, I raise my hand to be perceived. And then who amongst us is like, I am not interested in that at this moment, but I'll watch you. I'll be a part of your audience and I'll give you that, send my energy your way. We'll create something in that process. Oh, hey, the other Ife Chukwu. Do you ever Google your name to see the other people with your name? I got a new phone, and when I went onto YouTube, they didn't know it was me. And so when I searched my name, they were having other people pop up, which I thought was pretty rude, I must say. And then I was like, oh, there's like another Chimdi. There are many other, not just one. There are many other Chimdis. And I'm like, what are y'all up to? What are you all doing with my name? And I think it'd be pretty fun to like hang out with all the other people with your name, Like I'm so curious about what the frequency match is for everyone who has that exact name. And if there would be, when I just searched my name, the person who came up was like a gospel singer who was singing about God. So I was like, you get it. You get it. We're on the same page. So it's also fun to consider maybe that is just another you from another dimension. And the name is what you have in common. But if things had split up differently, you'd be a gospel singer singing about God. Okay, Ifechukwu saying lots of people have my name in Nigeria, mostly men apparently. My name is a boy name. It's the same for me, I think. For Chimdi, it's mostly these dudes. And when there are American women who have American men names, or like gender neutral names, I do feel like it's really cool. I'm always thinking about like cities like Brooklyn. There are people who are named Brooklyn and things like that. And I'm like, that's so cool. And I'm like, I guess that's who I am for the Nigerian collective, which feels pretty cool and pretty spicy, I must say. Amir is saying, like, hanging out with people who share your birthday. That's the weirdest thing. I don't think I've ever known or met anyone with my exact birthday. I'm November 14. No. I have known someone on a different year, though. If I met another person who was born on the exact same day as me and the same year, I think it would make me uncomfortable. I think I would be like, it's kind of my thing. Like, I feel like it would be a glitch in the matrix type thing where I'd be like, I don't like it. And that's why God has kept those people away from me, because God knew I would not be a fan. Ifechukwu's naming, yeah, like Chris or Taylor. Exactly. I'm like, there's something so cool about it. Just the fact that it's just like a little bit different. I'm like, yeah. And that's who we are. All right, I'm going to hop out of here, y'all, because I've got a call in 5 minutes and I want to transition out. But thanks for hanging out. I think I am going to do this. I think I keep ending every live by being like, I think I'm going to be back, but there's a part of me that's not wanting to commit, which is worth exploring. I'm also noticing the resistance to having a set time is also a subtle way of not committing. So I'm just noticing these movements in me. And y'all know I'm gonna do my inner work, and it will probably eventually result in me having a set time and day. And I love that for us. Okay, bye.